I want to concentrate on number 1, and I want to concentrate on these instructions. And there should be color pencils throughout. But basically what I'm concentrating on is I want to find the distance for the pair of points. So I'm looking at the distance from here to here. And if I was interested in finding the distance of this line, I want to start by asking for ideas. So I'm looking to have an idea, how can I logically find the distance of that jumbo?
Why don't you just count the spaces?
I'll put it to you this way. If I were to count this way, if I count across, that's easy to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. If I count up and down, that's easy to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. But when I count diagonally, I'm not allowed to count diagonally and say 1, 2, like that. It doesn't seem to measure the same way. So you're right, it'd be nice if I could, but I'm not really allowed to count diagonally and assume that I have the same measurement. Because my measurement is based on the size of these squares. Okay? Joe? Sorry, one more time. Nice. So staircase idea would be very nice. What would the staircase look like? From where to where? So would I go from the bottom and go like this? Or would I go from the bottom and go all the way across like this? Which one? The first one? I would say that yes, that would be a good idea. And please don't draw this yet. But think about it this way. If I do my stairs idea, I'm going to quickly, because of where the stairs are, I'm going to quickly end up with stairs that are not necessarily the same size. And so the issue with any kind of counting ever is having one stair, for example, that is wider than the other. And so that's problematic because then I don't have the same spacing. So unfortunately, that idea, you are so close, but it can't be quite that way. I'm going to take a look at his idea. Well, actually, before I do that, anybody have a similar idea or kind of something that they might be able to add to? And with all due respect, I'm asking for those of you who are on your computer to put it to the side, because I know exactly what you're doing with it. And those of you on your phone, respectfully, put it to the side as well. So I need to find the distance from here to here. The best idea I have right now is that I can do like a little staircase idea, and he's very close to what we really need. What do you think? Okay. From where to where? And then all the way across. So I'm going to take that idea, which was the original staircase idea, but I'm modifying it, and I think I'm being told how to modify it. I'm going to go level. I'm going to use the grid to help me, and I'm going to go ahead and go right across this far. And the only reason I'm going to go that far is because that's now level with the other point. And so I'm going to do this straight up and down. Now what I'm hoping for is that as soon as I make that drawing, it clicks to a particular shape or strategy. Ideas? Triangle specifically, what kind of triangle? And what do I know about a right triangle? 90 degrees. And what theorem am I allowed to use with this right triangle? Pythagorean theorem. So now I'm going to go write this right triangle. That's my right angle. I'm going to automatically do this arrow. I'm asking that the arrow get put in there. And please, and if I put that arrow there, this is now called what? So that is now C. And I'm kind of hoping that that it triggers memory, because if I say that's C, then I can automatically now say this must be A, and this I can conveniently call B. And then the next step is simple. How tall is A? So I'm being told 5. How much is it across for B? And because I now have a triangle, A, B, and C, and it's a right triangle, then all of a sudden, I have exactly what I need, which is my Pythagorean theorem. And in my Pythagorean theorem, all that really means is I have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay. Because I now know that A is 5, B is 6, I automatically rewrite this as 5 squared plus 6 squared equals 2 C squared. And I realize I'm not looking for C squared, I want C, but that's what the Pythagorean theorem does for me. So anybody call out 5 squared? So I have 25, call out 6 squared, and this becomes C squared. I believe 25 and 36 is 61. And here's the deal with 61. 61 is prime. If I say 61 is prime, I can't break it apart. So here's the convenient thing. I'm going to now take this answer, rewrite it here, and do the steps I've already been practicing. But because 61 is prime, then all I gotta say now is that the answer here is square root of 61 is the value of C. So if I ask, how long is this line? The length of this line is exactly the square root of 61. But that's problematic today. The reason that it's problematic today is because I don't know how long that is. To this day, I have no idea what the measurement of 61 would be if it's inside the square root symbol. So today we're going to modify the answer. We're going to take a calculator, okay? And most of your calculators have the same feature, especially if you do the auto rotate, where you have the item, you have the calculator, and when you rotate it, it gives you a whole bunch of extra features. So today, basically, you're going to be using your calculator, or if you're doing it off of your computer, that's fine as well. It's probably easier. But after your calculator, you do the auto rotate feature, and you're going to have the extra features. And what I'd like you to do is, I'd like somebody to please figure out how much is the square root of 61. With your calculator. That's what I just said. So I have an answer. And basically what I've been told right now is this is going to be 7.81, but I want you to now change the symbol to this little wavy equal sign. And I'm going to say that C is approximately 7.81. If you are not sure how to do that on your calculator, when you guys do the practice today, I'll come around and double check so that I can kind of show you on your calculator for anybody who's not sure how to do that. Those who are doing things on the computer, you can do the calculator on the computer, and it's sometimes easier. By the way, if I were to do this on the calculator, just as a little side note, let's see if it lets me. If I do this on the calculator, this is kind of the symbol I'm looking for. And so my number was 61. and if I do the square root, I'm gonna see this big giant list. I ignore the list and I only go up to 2 decimal places. So that's why 7.81 was a convenient answer. Okay? So you're taking this and you're rewriting it this way. Okay. Questions? For those who just came in, if you didn't get it all, you have permission to take a picture of the screen so you can kind of do it after. So I'm gonna switch page for now or switch sides. I am recording this, so for those of you who didn't get the information at first, I'm gonna embed a recording of this lesson by the end of today. It's gonna be in your OneNote. Okay. All right, everybody switch over to number 3. So scroll down and basically on your paper, switch over to number 3. And see, the thing is that I have to try to make this triangle thing no matter what kind of line they make me. So sometimes it's flipped one way, sometimes it's flipped the other. And please don't draw this yet. But basically what I want to do here is I can draw the triangle either up here or I can draw the triangle down here. It actually makes no difference which triangle you choose. It's whatever you feel is more convenient to you. So for me, I'm going to keep the lower half. If I keep the lower half, then all I really want to do is I want to stay with the line to make my vertical, stay with the line to make my horizontal. If I draw the line and my line's diagonal, something's wrong. Okay? So don't draw a diagonal line. It has to be either horizontal or vertical. I'm going to go ahead and basically say, let me put it back. I have this line, I have this line. I'm going to go across and I'm still going to go ahead and label C. Automatically, this is A, which equals 2. This is B, which also equals 2. And I will just plug in. And I have a habit of always writing the formula. A and B are automatically 2, so 2 squared equals C squared. There is no big deal with 2 squared. Yes, sir?
Could you create it,
Yes, you can. Because I know that you see the answer that you could have done, but you're still going to have to break it down. So honestly, it's more convenient to keep the 8 because you're right, this is 2 to the 3rd power. But in terms of what I want to do with it, which is this extra step, because I know that I want to break it down, the 8 is more convenient than the 2 square root of 3, even though we're talking about the same thing. Okay? So in here, this becomes 2 times 4. And this is just C. 2 is prime. So this becomes 2 times 2 times 2. And we're right back at what we've been practicing all along for quite a while now, which is circle the pair, the perfect square, and find its what? What's the word I've been using? Base. So find its base. So here's my base. The original are gone. The original 2 that I just circled are gone. I have a leftover. And this is exactly the value of C. I have a suggestion for the approximation. You could do the approximation of this number, but it takes extra steps. So when you do the approximation of this, do it off of the original. So in other words, on your calculator, type in the square root of 8, because 8 here is the same as this answer. They both work, but this one takes more effort. So can somebody find the square root of 8? Approximately how much that is? 2.82. So I'm being told that this is going to be 2.82, and that's my approximate answer for C. Now listen carefully. If this is 2 and this is 2, then that means C is almost 3, 2.82. To me, knowing that this is almost 3 is an easier, I get a better sense of the size than saying 2 square root of 2. If I tell somebody this measures 2 square root of 2, most adults, not only students, but most adults have no idea what that is. If I then go to the same adults and I say to them, this is about 2.8, they somehow feel better about it. It's like, okay, I can manage that. I have an idea what that might look like. So that's why I want the change today. Question on either of the first two. The paper right now is notes. I'm collecting notes today. These are the notes I'm collecting. Easy points, basically. If you are done with these notes on the front right now, turn it over on the blank side. Right. And by a show of hands, who needs more time? Okay. Let me know when you're ready. Let me update the attendance. All right. You still need more time? You're good? All right. Right now, I am going to turn mine over to what I'm going to say is the back of the page. So I'm going to say this is the back of the page for me. And here's the problem that I have now. There we go. What is the distance and I wrote that wrong. So what is the distance of the line from point A to point B? And here's the messed up part. I purposely put it on this side, which is the blank side of your paper, because there's no picture. So the question becomes, if I take the picture away, if I take the graph away, how do I figure it out? Say again? So I'm going to say idea number 1. And it's an excellent idea because you're always, most of the time, have that option. Create your own graph. And I'm going to say that that is an excellent idea, but today I'm taking that choice away. Because if you look at the back of your paper, it's already a blank piece of paper. There is no grid. So that kind of messes up accuracy to a certain extent. So what if I take that choice away? I don't let you, even though it's a great idea, I don't let you actually grab it. Can I still figure out the distance from here to there? And if I can, suggestions. I hear mumbling. And let me backtrack for a second.
Imagine.
Kind of. Let me backtrack for a second. Originally, everything that I just did for the original notes is based off of a picture. The picture is so powerful because it gives me all the pieces I want. What I'm saying to you now, because you are kind of at the next level, is how do I do that when I take that option away? I'm going to make a suggestion. You tell me if this helps in any kind of way. Let me see here. I am going to say that point A, since this is a coordinate, right, 2, 2, what does the coordinate represent? What letters? What are my letters for a coordinate? Any coordinate. Thank you. X and Y. So my coordinates are X and Y. So I'm going to say this one is going to be X. This is going to be Y. And B, this is going to be X. And this is going to be Y. Would you be comfortable with the idea that since this is the first point, point A, that I can call this my first X and my first Y? Would you be comfortable with that? And if I go here, this could be now considered my second X point and my second Y point. Comfortable with that idea? So here's the question. If I start breaking it down this way, can I figure out the distance between the X's and the Y's? For example, can I figure out how far apart these points are? And if the answer is yes, how? How far is 2 from 4? How far? Not a trick question. So those of you who are saying it, I know some of you are saying it nice and loud. How far is 2 from 4? 2. How do I prove that? It sounds almost stupid to say that, but how do I prove that? I count, right? I have 2, 3, 4. Okay? What if I don't have that idea? How else can I prove that this is 2? What can I do to those numbers calculation-wise to prove that's true? Or minus. Thank you. So look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to write down my X values. And in my X values, I'm going to start with 4. That's the first number I heard. And I'm going to take away 2. And if I do that, 4 take away 2, that proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that proves that this is 2. Therefore, look at what I'm about to do with this. I'm now going to call this A. I am calling this A on purpose because I'm hoping it's going to trigger a memory. Anybody see where I'm going with this? Then I'm going to do the same choice with the Y values, and I'm purposely changing colors. So I'll go like this. And along the Y, how far away are those? For the same reason, would you agree? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say the Y values. And the big number there is still 4. I chose these numbers because it's very convenient. If I chose A for the first one, what would be a good one for the second one? So all of a sudden, I'm hoping you're seeing what I want. And here is my second answer. And if I now have A and I have B, then what should be the trigger? What should be the next piece? I'm trying to find C, but in order for me to make any sense of A and B, What's the formula I'm going to use? A squared plus b squared equals. So now I am back. Now I am back at a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Where this is 2, and the number should be very familiar to what we just finished doing anyways. So this should be 4. Jonathan, make sure you have this, please. 4. This is 8. As soon as I have that this is 8, I'm right back at what I already did. So I'm left with notice how I'm not showing you breaking it down because we just broke this down on the other side. So it makes no sense to have to do it again. And we ended up that this was 2 point what approximately? 2.82. Yeah. Okay. So this was 2.82. Because of how I wrote the problem to begin with, I need a conclusion, and the conclusion is going to read like this. Therefore, the distance from point A to B is approximately 2.82 units. I am not asking you to do this today as part of the notes or as part of the homework. This is just something that I want to kind of put out there because this is where we're headed. Okay? So if that makes sense, then I should be able to do the same style no matter what numbers they give me. Here's the thing I want you to think about them. There's actually a formula for this, and I'm not sure if some of you have seen this before in the past. There's actually a formula for this, but it's a very complicated looking formula. And all the formula is basically saying is exactly what we just did. It just makes it look in a complicated way. All right, so I'm going to respectfully just kind of ignore the formula for a second. And I'm going to move this here like this. And I'll move it more in a second. So if this made sense, and I'm hoping it did, find the distance from point A at 1, 5 to point B at 3, 11. When I gave you the first one right now, I chose those numbers on purpose because 2 and 4 are so easy to do. But if that works, then I should be able to do the same thing with this new one. As you're setting this up, as you're creating this one, get into the habit of labeling. So this is X, this is Y, this is X, this is Y. I'll say this is the first X value, first Y value, second X, and second Y. When we do this on an actual formula, it'll make sense why I even bother. For right now, on your paper, I want you to break it down like this. X values. and you'll give me some kind of calculation, y values, and you'll give me some kind of calculation. So, is there anyone still copying the original? So for those of you who are on the new one, what numbers am I going to use for the x value? 1 and 3. So how do I set that up? I could say 1 take away 3, but that's going to give me a negative number, and it's not wrong. But what would be easier? I could say in order 1 take away 3, but what I'll ask is that you start with the bigger number and write it this way: 3 take away 1. If I do 3 take away 1, that is 2, and now just call that automatically a. So the yellow piece is this one. To be consistent, the green piece will be these two. So what am I subtracting now? So I'll say 11 take away 5, and that makes 6. So that is B. And if that makes sense, then for those of you who are clear about this, automatically plug it into your formula: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Take about 2 minutes, see what you can come up with. If you have an answer, raise your hand so I can take a look at it. And also give me the approximation. Use your phones, use your calculator, whatever you have. And see if you can plug those numbers in and come up with an answer. Anybody have an answer yet? Plug it into your formula, set it up. For those of you who are doing it and you are doing it well, you are going to end up with, conveniently, not showing you the steps. You guys know how to do this, but this is going to turn into C is equal to the square root of 40. That means C is going to be approximately 6.82. 32? Sorry, misunderstood. So 32.